So what's up people and welcome to the Mission 43 discussion of Spy Family. So Mission 43 came out a few days ago, and as always I will leave a link to this mission that's currently being shown on the publisher's official website, Manga Plus, for free to the North American audience, at least for a few weeks. So if you're interested, go take a look at it before the publisher pulls this mission back. Now Mission 43, this one was special for me because this was the mission that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. I had a feeling that eventually the author was going to go this direction, and finally I'm seeing clues that we are going to start this story. But the majority of the story revolves around a cat, or a lost cat that Lloyd's assistant, Frankie, is frantically looking for. It turns out that a girl that he likes has lost this cat, and so he's trying to find it for her. And of course, Lloyd being so busy with his missions that he's like, Frankie, you're on your own. But Yor eventually teams up with Frankie, and it is their antics that's pretty funny throughout this entire mission looking for this cat. Now, of course, they eventually do find the cat, and Yor finds the cat in the way that only Yor can find a cat, but it was quite amusing to watch. But that's not why I'm so happy to see the story. It is basically the other parts of this mission that I was very interested in. You see, Lloyd is talking to Frankie with regards to his mission, and he's not getting the information fast enough, and so he asks Frankie why. And Frankie answers that one of his key informants was killed recently. And what's interesting is that informant was killed by a rogue shadow assassination team. Now, it's not directly implied that this is Yor's team, but come on. We all know that this is Yor's team, right? And in fact, this silhouette of one of the characters seems to be Yor. Exactly. And what's interesting is we learn a few things with regards to Yor's dark career, and that this team is called the Garden. And they consist of many assassins, more than just Yor. So we originally thought that it was potentially just Yor, but now we understand there's a slew of these assassins. And all of them have superhuman strength, which means that each one of these assassins most likely is as powerful as Yor, and potentially maybe more powerful. And so this of course opens up the story. Eventually we have a feeling that there's going to be a Twilight versus Thorn Princess sort of arc, where neither one of them knows the identity of the other, and so Yor receives a contract to take Twilight out, right? So this is Mr. and Mrs. Smith sort of story. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens, and I'm very much excited to learn more about Yor's background, because we've learned a lot about WISE, right? The organization that Twilight is in. But we haven't seen anything about Yor's group. And considering the fact that they are an assassination team, it is really interesting to see what is motivating them. Now, from what this story implies is, if it is Garden that Yor is included with, they are going after people who are considered threats to Ostania. In which case, it is very interesting to see what exactly these targets are. If their targets are people like Twilight, then what is the motivation of Garden? Are they just a rogue group for the government of Ostania? Is there a much more darker secret to them? And are all of their exterminations justified, right? Are the targets bad guys? If it is Garden, it's probably not, because of the fact that one of the people they killed was this informant, right? And so it'll be interesting to see how this resolves, because of the fact that even if Yor finds out that Twilight is Lloyd, and of course there's no way that Yor can kill Lloyd, this brings up the dilemma and the conflict of Yor as the Thorn Princess and Yor as Agent Twilight's wife. And it'll be interesting to see how Tatsuya Endo moves this forward. Will Yor go rogue? And will she have to battle the other members of Garden? Will Twilight enter and help her out? It'll be interesting to find exactly how this moves forward. But this is the first clue that there is going to be a crossing of the paths between these two characters, and it'll be interesting to see how this writer writes that story. Now, the other group that we still haven't seen too much of is Anya's. We know that Anya was in a special laboratory where she was turned into an Esper, which means that there are probably other Espers out there, and we haven't seen any of them yet. So, will that side of the story eventually come out? So there is a great amount of depth and world building that Tatsuya Endo can still do. And considering the fact that we are still only in chapter 43, there could be a tremendous amount of additional chapters focused on these sorts of arcs. And if they do go down this story way, then it may lead this story a little bit away from the wholesome, hilarious things that are going on in the school and might go into the darker side of Spy Family. I don't think it'll ever get too dark, and I don't think the story should ever get too dark. But considering the fact that the main story is about espionage and about spies, there has to be that part of the story with the wholesomeness that you see in Anya's life. And so it'll be interesting to see how, again, this writer moves forward with that. But anyway, that is chapter 43. I'm really excited for the fact that Tatsuya Endo is finally starting to show clues with regards to this, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the future. But in any case, yeah, what'd you think of 43? What do you think about what may happen between Yor and Lloyd? And if you can leave a comment in the comment section, I would really appreciate it. And I'll continue on with more Spy Family in the future. I hope you join me at that time. And until then, happy manga reading, and as always, Jaya, nice day, everyone.